Well, hello there, folks. We have the special privilege today to take a look at Axis Operations 1941 here in Panzer Corps 2, the upcoming DLC for the game. So I am going to stick here on Colonel difficulty. I could probably push it up to General, but you know what? What can I say? I'm a coward. Let's jump into the fight and see just how we do here. I think we're going to do pretty damn well, but I can't wait to see what operations are available. I believe we've even got something called Operation Thermopylae, which I am not even familiar with, at least not that Thermopylae. Alright, just like every campaign in Panzer Corps 2, of course you do start with the ability to name your general, and these of course can lead over to the next campaign if you wish that to be the case. We've also got Volker Kautz here and Marcus von Runthal as special heroes here of the Reich. I mean, look at all of these different military commendations. I hope this is due to the game itself and not because of all the gameplay I've done and not continued. In this campaign, you can earn commendation points by completing bonus objectives. All right, makes sense. So we're going to call ourselves Gunther Fritz. I know, the most original name possible. I would definitely consider myself an infantry general, and that means the infantry units are going to be 25% less slots. I could also randomize here to be really, really crazy. Let's do it. We're going to have Fear of the Unknown, delayed reinforcements, and a bunch of other things. Alright guys, it looks like we're in Zagreb. It's great to see you gearing up for another campaign. After my time observing the Italians in Albania, it's good to be back with my Wehrmacht brethren. As ever, I will do my best to explain the tactical situations we will be facing during these briefings. So, it looks like we're gonna be taking Zagreb, Croatia. Unbelievable here. And we need to rendezvous with Prince Paul of Yugoslavia. Of course, during this time, it is Yugoslavia and not Croatia, but I always remember Zagreb there as a city in Croatia. Bonus objective would be Wagner's half-track survives. Alright, after the dismal failures of the Italians against Greece, High Command is worried about the British potential opening a new front in the Balkans. As a result, preparations are being made with our Balkan allies to deal with this threat once and for all. As part of these preparations, High Command has tasked us to send a small ceremonial detachment to meet with Yugoslavia's regent, Prince Paul. He's currently planning to go on holiday and has agreed to wait for us for a meeting in Zagreb. I know what you might be thinking, but our orders are very clear. We're just going to have a talk with the prince. Out of respect of Yugoslavian sovereignty, the majority of your army is in reserve or on leave in Hungary. They'll be enjoying their own holiday on the shores of Lake Balaton. Okay, while we certainly don't anticipate any problems, of course, we should remain vigilant as we approach Zagreb. Okay, you don't say, and of course it looks like there's also a weather warning. Guys, let's end the briefing and get into combat. In this scenario, the number of available corps slots is the smaller size of your army. You need to decide which units will participate in the upcoming battle and move all the rest to reserve. Okay, fair enough. This looks like a pretty decent setup to begin with here. We're working with Panzer 1As and 1Bs. It gets pretty early war stuff, frankly. And unfortunately, these guys are over here doing their own thing, so we simply can't fill up the rest of those core slots. That's not going to happen. We've just got to kind of work with what we've got. I think I am going to go ahead. I don't want to undo all. I think I just want to go ahead and accept the current status here. Alright, let's get started here. We are going to begin the assault phase. Not much in terms of air cover. Now, we could have switched out some units to get that air cover, but I've decided to go ahead and proceed without it. As for undeployed units, we do have some infantry, but that's actually because I took them out of the stack over here in Hungary. So let's push forward. The weather is awful as expected, but I love how it's actually being shown here on the map. So let's move forward with our infantry first, just the 4th Wehr Infantry. We'll push forward with the 14th Panzer as well, and let's just hope that these Yugoslavians don't break their word. They did, after all, say they would meet with us, but there's no way I'm crossing that tank, that bridge, with a tank. Try again, Agrippa. Let's grab the 2nd Pioneer. Of course, we'll move them over here, and I'm just hoping we don't get ambushed on the way, because that would be a major problem, especially since most of these guys are in their trucks. Let's send the actual STKFC forward. We probably should have sent this forward above anything else because it's a bit of a scout. Another thing is that there's a potential road over here for entry, but Varaždin and Zagreb are really the main areas we have to reach, so I'm not so sure I want to even risk going over there. I think I want to remain with the rest of my force. Again, that could be a mistake, but let's see what happens. Let's just stay with the force for now. Message arrived from our quartermasters back in Hungary. It seems some of the men won a bet against their Hungarian army hosts, and the prize was to access a few of their Toldi tanks. They failed to mention what they offered up as an ante, but it's probably best we don't ask. A few of the Hungarian tanks will be available to us in limited stock. Okay, well, it's not going to really help us at the moment. Pushing forward in an SDKFC is almost as deadly as pushing forward with a tank here. But we've got to see what's going on in Yarashtin. Push forward. So far, no contact. Let's get to the center of the city here. And it does look like they put up no resistance whatsoever. I'm hoping it's not a mistake here to send the second Pioneer out in a truck, especially in a potential ambush situation. But it looks like the Pioneers can get out of that Opel as soon as they make it over here. Let's take a look. Now, these are the bonus objectives, and I believe that's rendezvousing with Paul of Hungary. We may need to go to all these different areas. Is that possible? I don't think so. I think we're going to focus on securing Zagreb, whether or not Prince Paul is willing to work with us here. Prince Paul of Albania, rather. Alright, ending the turn. And another objective is keeping Hauptmann Wagner's vehicle alive. So I'm guessing that ambushes are on the way. Mein General, we should have been greeted by Yugoslavian border guards by now. The silence is most unsettling. I'm going to order our ceremonial detachment to load live ammunition, just in case we need it. So it seems that much like the push into Slovakia, there was not really much... There really wasn't much in terms of resistance, or at least they didn't expect much in terms of resistance. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens here. I think now we do want to send our armor forward. If the Yugoslavians are going to start firing at us, we want to be absolutely prepared. Hauptmann. Alright, let's get this infantry forward quickly. In fact, I'm going to watch the edges here. Those hills look like a ripe location for an ambush. And maybe it's not such a bad idea that we detach one part of our army and go down this road, and maybe send our infantry over here through the mountains. Yugoslavia is known for quite a few mountain ranges. We go once again, some artillery, and it looks like this one... to me, it looks like a Nebelwerfer. It looked like a Nebelwerfer at a distance. Now that I get up close, of course, it's not a 26-15 centimeter SFH 18. I'm sure the Grognards will have a field day knocking my head around for not knowing that one. But let's proceed forward, and so far, so good. But it really is feeling like an ambush is coming. It really feels like the Teutoburg Forest right now. It's raining this turn. Aircraft won't be available to move or attack. Okay. I don't even think they can leave this position. Yeah, they can't. So it doesn't really make a difference. We didn't bring any air cover, and primarily because I knew the rain was going to be an issue. So we probably weren't going to be getting that air cover we expected. There we go. Man, moving through this terrain is really quite difficult. It's just so muddy, hilly. The roads aren't really anything to write home about, but I am going to push forward with this scout vehicle, just kind of try to get an eye on the situation ahead of us. And as always, do please leave in the comments down below what you think of this DLC so far. Again, I like all of these Axis Operations DLCs that kind of focus on operations that we rarely, if ever, see in strategic World War II games. So for me, it's a real blessing, honestly. right, we are approaching Zagreb. Oh my goodness, Achtung, Achtung, hostile forces have fired upon us. It is an ambush. Guys, they are ambushing us for sure. I am going to push forward with the Panzer Corps. Listen, if they want a war, that's what they're going to get. It looks like the Yugoslavian forces have decided to resist, and we simply can't have that. Let's get the artillery into position. This is the Nebelwerfer. See, I wasn't going crazy. There is a Nebelwerfer on the field. Let's move him forward. He's not going to be of much use this turn, but perhaps in the next. Let's get that infantry forward as well. And I believe this is the Wehr infantry, so they can get out of that Opel. Maybe not. Maybe only the Pioneer. Yeah, sorry, only the Pioneer infantry can do that. Actually, I would have preferred if we had kind of done this a little differently, so that the Pioneers could already be fighting this turn. Let's try to get that artillery into position as well. I wonder just how much the Yugoslavians are going to throw at us here. But it looks like so far they are not willing to negotiate one bit. Here we go, boys. At least we didn't get attacked on the flank, but that's a hell of a lot of vehicles. And it's a British vehicle. They are being helped by the British, or at least they're using British vehicles. A good old-fashioned Lend-Lease here. Open fire. Good work, boys. Let's go ahead and break through this Renault R35. So this is a French tank. I love all the hand-me-downs here given to the Yugoslavians, but I bet they are more than happy to take them. These are useful bits of artillery, bits of machinery, as you can imagine. All right, let's get over here. Actually, I was going to say I actually think we could still do damage there. Yeah, we're going to go for it with the Panzer III. Hopefully this will be a fairly easy way to wipe out resistance, and I am going to follow up with Hauptmann Wagner. Look at this. My goodness, guys. Yugoslavian reserves, as well as Captain Markovic here in the Yugoslavian cavalry. We are going to open fire, but we can see that they are putting up a hell of a fight here. They are not going to give up without a fight. I really want to move that vehicle up. See if we can move this guy out. I'm going to push him over here. Not the greatest position for a tank, kind of bogged down over there, but I want to just see how much farther I can actually get this tank forward, just to engage the enemy next turn. I was really thinking the second Pioneer would be out of the truck this turn. Let's do whatever we can to cover them, if that's still an option. Maybe not. At the very least, we will bring the artillery in, but of course, if they attack us from any of the flanking positions, we are in trouble. Luckily, this artillery immediately dismounts, so let's open fire on Captain Markovic. And I have to say, I really love the look of the Yugoslavians. Let me know what you guys think down below. Really looking cool. Here we go. Wow, they're holding their position. Okay, thank you. That's going to stop us from a lot of unnecessary losses on our side. But we have to get rid of these reserves and, of course, the cavalry before we can actually break into Zagreb herself. Talk about urban warfare here. Let's actually push over here. Look at that. They're all over the place, man. I'm going to open fire on these guys that are actually out in the open, just because we have a pretty good chance to deal some significant damage. I'll also push over here with the Panzer III and do the exact same thing and actually force my way a little bit closer to the city. And look at that. What do you know? We've got yet another Renault 35. So I'm going to be prepared to engage it next turn. This turn, I'm going to open fire on the reserves. It looks like our Pioneer are absolutely more combat effective here. And actually, Pioneers are made to assault these kind of locations. So let's go ahead. And they're going to fall back deeper into the city. It looks like we could actually cut them off here. But let's see if we can cut them off with a different unit. Oh, yes. Again, another tank. I'm not liking that, but let's at least open fire on the anti-tank weapon here. it's going to open fire on us one way or another. So I figure we should shoot, and we are getting the leadership bonus here from Hauptmann Wagner. I do wish we had more men, though. I'm glad we are no longer using those ceremonial bullets, because we do need some live rounds, that's for sure. We've got the enemy encircled here, and I believe we can encircle them even more. So let's push forward, really trap them in, and create a mass attack situation. Would have liked to completely trap them and cause the surrender, but right now we just need to try and build those casualties up. The enemy's doing quite well. Get that Nebelwerfer up for next turn. All right, my palms are sweating, man. I'm really surprised at this Yugoslavian defense. I mean, think about it. You've got Bosnia, you've got Croatia, you've got, is it Albania as well? That's right, it is Albania as well. All of these, of course, these countries did not exist at the time, but certainly the regions did, and just a conglomeration of different peoples working together to defeat the fascist threat. But we're going to try to put an end to that. And first things first, let's try to encircle here. Yeah, baby. This is how you get results. We're going to start bombarding. And actually, I might not even want to bombard that tank unit immediately. I might want to focus on other units and try to really weaken the enemy, especially since we get the recon boost over here with the SDKFC. So I'm going to open fire on the 20mm. This thing is pretty devastating against our infantry and could be quite devastating against vehicles, light vehicles especially. So let's go ahead. We can actually destroy it once and for all. Potentially even push deeper into Zagreb. I know it's risky, but by doing this, we are encircling all of these enemy units. Let's push deeper into the city. And once again, an attack on the 10th Yugoslavian infantry here. Let's see if we can't finish them off with Hauptmann Wagner. In fact, we might just try to focus on the tanks, because I think they're a bit more of a threat. Now, of course, they could regenerate these tanks by the end of the turn, or by next turn, but that's going to cost them some points, and I don't exactly think they have that many points to spend in the first place. Here we go. We're going to try to finish them off, but first, let's give them a nice little Nebelwerfer barrage with the recon boost. Love that recon boost, by the way. Not as effective as we wanted it to be, but hey, still effective, and they surrendered. Absolutely the right choice for those Yugoslavian units. Let's keep firing. And what is this? Second Commandos. The British have come to aid their Yugoslavian friends. No wonder they had so many British vehicles here. So, of course, yet another issue to deal with. And I am being a bit risky on this push because I'm sending these guys out in vehicles. Vehicles that are quite easily destroyed if the enemy decides to attack. So let me just make sure that I have attacked with everybody here. We can actually hit the British, but as you can see, the 1st Commando, they're quite good. And in fact, I think anybody is quite good against this SDKFC. So I'm going to move him back out over here. And let's just hope that our Pioneers are just as successful at holding the Commandos back. I love the look of the town here. I mean, the city of Zagreb. And of course, the Commandos holding the western part of the city. Just really nice touch here. All right, boys. Is it time to ask for any reinforcements? Maybe not yet. I'm not even going to push in with Hauptmann Wagner yet. I don't want to risk his life. I want at least that bonus objective. So you see the Commandos actually push themselves into an encirclement. That's how desperate they are to defend the city of Zagreb. But I'm not going to be using the Nebelwerfer against them. I'm going to use it against the cavalry. Need to weaken this unit as much as possible because the Panzer IV is going to have to attack in an urban center. Yup, of course it's not looking good for him when he does that. Tanks don't typically do well attacking into an urban center, but we had to do it. We had to do a little additional damage there. I'd love to give these guys a rest and potentially bring on some reinforcements, some fresh troops. So let's try to use these infantry units against the enemy. Although then again, we could potentially take the southern part of Zagreb. So I might ignore that unit, go ahead and push here, and we'll focus on these guys. Let's actually let the Hauptmann get the attack. Sehr gut, Hauptmann. And I believe we might be able to finish them off this turn. You know what? We're not going to finish them off, but let's go ahead and open fire on the commandos. They're out in the open. It's a good opportunity to try and get some hits. And even though our guys have been pretty wounded, and they're not up to full strength, since the enemy's out in the open and we've already done quite a lot of damage, I think this is going to be the end for this commando unit. Or the 10th Yugoslavian Infantry. It's our choice, but I think the commandos are more of a threat. Well fought, though. Definitely well fought. Fully encircled the enemy here. We're going to keep on firing at the tank. Although, you know what? Now that I see the reserves encircling us and getting close to the artillery, I have to say I don't like that. So I'm going to try to force a retreat. And in the meantime, we will finish off the stragglers here inside the city of Zagreb. An honorable attempt, to say the least, but not enough to save their fair city. And now, of course, we're going to have to lay waste to the entire damn place. No, wrong, definitely a wrong move. I can undo it, although I typically don't allow undos. I don't allow myself undos. In this case, I am making an exception. And let's end that turn. Wow, see, this is what I was worried about, flanking our cavalry units, or just flanking units in general. They've got quite a few, it seems. Still quite a few soldiers capable of a fight, and especially since we're not here in full strength. It's looking rough for us. Even over here, look at what the commandos did to our Wehr infantry. Man, we're going to have to get reinforcements for that unit. They have lost almost every single man in that group. Same with this tank. So let's see here. We can actually boost strength up quite a bit. And I'm actually going to target the 20mm Portee. It's a beautiful weapon. Some sort of anti-tank weapon mounted on a supply truck. That is pretty horrifying if you're in any armored vehicle. Alright, I think we can go ahead and immediately take out Captain Markovic's Yugoslavian cavalry. And of course, that is a hero to the Croatians. It's going to be tough to replace him, and hopefully that'll make it a little easier to get into town. Now, let's see how many units we could get back here. Still 7. We might as well go for the elite replacements. So let's bring in some elite troops. These guys have been through quite a lot, so they know what they're doing. We can't attack with the tank, that's for sure. So instead, we're going to send the tank over here. That's right, I'm targeting an anti-tank unit. All's well that ends well, and that ended beautifully. I believe we can actually still try and meet with the prince, which is hilarious. But for now, fact is we've got enemies behind us. We've got to put a stop to that. And our Pioneer unit's got another kill. I see a potential medal or a hero for this Pioneer unit before the end of this battle. Again, we're going to have to push back with the Hauptmann here and get that mass attack bonus. I wish we could use these panzers and, of course, the SDKFC on another unit, but the fact is we're being flanked by cavalry, and that's just not safe. Wonderful. Push them back into the woods, and hopefully we can keep them away from our artillery here. That's all I really want. Is that too much to ask for? By the way, I just love the burning effects, not just in this DLC, but in Panzer Corps 2 in general. Yeah, the commandos aren't giving up the ghost yet, but they will soon enough. I think from here, we should be able to bombard them out of the city, at the very least surround them so that they're completely stuck in. And at that point, they will see just the futility of this situation. Although, no, they can actually escape behind here. We will still get the mass attack, but this unit isn't fresh. So let's move him back. Yeah, let's push the Grenadiers forward. Grenadiers! Definitely last stand of the commandos there. It is a sight to behold, though, I will say. And I'm actually going to push the artillery into town, because, again, this artillery deploys instantly, and we can open fire on the commandos. I'm even tempted to go ahead and push forward with the tanks, just because we've got that mass attack bonus, and that typically lends itself to good things. Mein General, our detachment has secured Zagreb, but there is no sign of the prince or his escorts. There is a public radio broadcast that seems to be repeating. We'll get it translated shortly. The radio broadcast is claiming that there has been a coup and that the usurpers have taken Prince Paul and his family into their custody. Mein General, perhaps there is still a chance we can rescue the prince. We should scour the villages in the east in search of him. Alright, well, Prince Paul is still, of course, an ally, so we're gonna try and find him. Yeah, we weren't gonna let those guys get away. And of course, now we've got to scour these villages over here in search of the prince. Let's get to it, folks. On the way, we will be taking out this Yugoslavian cavalry. Oh boy. We've got some tanks on the way. Now, these men desperately need a rest. And I think I'm going to replace them with elite replacements. We can afford it. We might as well get the best men Germany can give us. The same over here for these units too, but they're going to need to wait a turn before they can get replaced. As for this unit, we'll go ahead and just give them standard replacements, although we could have gone all out, frankly. And let's go ahead, open fire with the second Pioneer again. Those reserve units are going to have to run for sure. Sehr gut. Enemy is still encircled. All right. Good work, boys. You can't encircle us. It's just not going to happen. All right, here we go. It's time to push forward with the rest of the men. Let's go ahead and just finish this tank off. But you know what? Before I do that, I wanted to bring in the Grenadiers, although that's not going to be possible this turn. So let's just weaken this tank. One more attack by one of our infantry units, and he is dead. I think even though it's saying 0 of 0, we're going to get this kill. Okay, okay. I've been corrected. I stand corrected, I should say. Let's see if the Grenadier can get the kill. I'm sure they can get the job done. Wow. Enemy's getting quite lucky today, and I don't know if I want to waste rounds on this guy. I think I'd rather waste rounds on the enemy tank here. Another French tank, it looks like. FT-17. Let's go ahead and use the Nebelwerfer there. I think this was the right move. As tempted as I am to try and chase that tank down and kill him, it's just not going to work out well for us this time. We will, however, open fire on the Yugoslavian reserves. And the chase continues. The search for the prince continues as well. And how interesting. With our SDKFC, it does look like we're going to be able to get that final kill. Maybe even a surrender. But no, the enemy is stubborn to the end. They refuse to surrender, even against all odds. I'm not afraid of that 3 tank there. We'll keep moving forward, speeding towards those villages to try and find the fair prince. While we're at it, we'll go ahead and get some elite replacements here for our tanks. I mean, these are going to be some serious panzers next turn. Looks like the enemy still has some artillery and still has some cavalry units. I've got to give it to the Yugoslavian cavalry. They are some brave men. I'm not sure if they're effective, but attacks like that certainly are. And we need to be careful that they don't retake Zagreb, because that would, of course, put quite a craw in our mission. A craw, really, Agrippa? I could have thought of a more apt World War II term. Yeah, let's get the tank. There we go. Wonderful work by the Pioneers. I told you these guys had it in them. And while I'm at it, you know what? I'll get elite replacements for the artillery piece. Just going to go ahead and cut them off, because we also want to use this recon vehicle to check out those villages. Over here, Grenadiers, elite replacements for you boys. You've earned it. And the same for Hauptmann. Let's go ahead and give him some elite replacements. The Wehr infantry are going to have to do some roadside action and try and hit the FT-17. And again, with our fury and our training, we've managed to push him back yet again. I actually should not have chased, because we could have easily cut him off this turn with the tank. That's okay, though. Pushing forward here. And I'm going to push this tank over here. So depending on what happens, I'll just either continue east or go ahead and take on the tank over there. Now, here's an opportunity to get a kill, but also an opportunity to get some elite replacements, although only 2 elite replacements. 9. Combat must continue. Alright, here we go. It's kind of frustrating having to use an entire infantry unit just to do that, but I think it's absolutely necessary. Let's keep pushing, boys. I'm going to try to close this guy in for a mass attack. Oh, yes, as well as the leadership boost. Tremendous. We might actually be able to get a kill this turn. Yep, with the artillery. Fire! Gotta love these artillery guys. Their support. Without their support, this just wouldn't be a successful mission. We don't have any of that air support that we would like to have because of the rain, and because I didn't take it due to the rain. So that really comes in handy. Fire! All who stand against the Reich will be dealt with. Just got that cavalry unit to deal with. I'm sure that more will be on the way. That's absolutely going to happen. And I'm being very risky with the grenadiers here, but moving them forward as quickly as possible. I'm also leaving these 2 locations open. So here's to hoping the enemy doesn't take Zagreb back. An ambush, that's exactly what I didn't want to happen, and it's actually a mountain infantry, so somewhat better prepared than a lot of their counterparts here. I will assist with the SDKFC. We still have some time, and in this situation, it's certainly the safest thing to do. Let's provide some machine guns supporting fire, and we've also got the good old-fashioned machine guns of the Grenadiers themselves. Not bad. I thought they would break, but they are brave. The attack must continue if we're to find the prince. So close. Let's push forward with Hauptmann and see if he can't take the kill here. And I wonder if Hauptmann follows us through this 1941 campaign. That would be pretty cool. He seems to be an interesting character. And since, of course, keeping him alive is one of the bonus objectives, I'm guessing we can take him through the campaign. At least it's a guess. I think I'm going to leave the infantry behind, just to watch this area, of course. Make sure that the enemy doesn't try to retake Zagreb. Okay, I was not expecting that anti-tank weapon. Let's just keep away from that thing. I'd rather not deal with it, frankly. Open fire. Thank you again, artillery, especially in an open situation like that. Look at that. We did even better than expected. Yep, I expected them to come back with that. Let's see if the Nebelwerfer can deal with the situation. He might be able to. We might not even need the assistance of the infantry here. But just to be safe... There, infantry, it's time for you to be heroes. Take out that Yugoslav vehicle. Good work. I love how the vehicles remain on the map as well. I've got to play some more Panzer Corps 2. This is a game that I really enjoyed when it came out. I loved the original, but I just never really played much of it. I think I had played so much of the original that I was kind of over it. I know that sounds awful, but this is bringing me back, man. Look at that recon boost for the artillery. Gotta love that. Let's get the kill with the Pioneer unit. The second Pioneer. Good work, boys. We're getting very close to one of these villages. Let's hope we find something. There are a number of Ukrainian infantry units out here. That's making me think that potentially Prince Paul could be in this village. But let's be honest, he could be in any of these locations. Wherever the coup plotters are actually hiding him to keep him away from us. Right, you know, with the Grenadiers, let's get some elite replacements. Oh, they are definitely trying to cut off our path to that location, but again, it could be a diversion. Quite a good one, too. You can see there are a number of different villages, 7 different villages for us to rendezvous with the Prince. All right, we've gone to the first location. Open fire. I should have waited for additional forces here. Bit of a newbie move in Panzer Corps 2 for me. And you know what? I'm actually going to forego the tactical advantage. Before I do, I'll actually bring in some infantry so we still get that scouting bonus. But I'm going to send this guy forward to look at the other villages. Good work. Good work, boys. Could actually finish this guy off this turn, but is it more important to finish him off or get to the next village? Well, you know what? We could destroy him, get to this village, and get to this village with the tank. I think the Reich will reward us. I certainly hope so. I'm daring them to attack us here. Calling their bluff, moving my truck right there. And let's move the infantry deeper into town at this point. The same with the Nebelwerfer. Despite this not being the best unit to defend a location, that's exactly what I'm trying to do with him. You're not moving us off this strip. It's not going to happen. Although certainly a tiny enemy counterattack here. Good work. Let's keep pushing north. I'll get the Grenadiers into that position, but I want to try to bypass these guys and get over there to that location. So let's not get encircled. Let's try and come to the assistance of our STKFC. Obviously getting that recon boost for the Pioneer. Good work. It looked very Soviet. I'm wondering if anybody can give us some of the politics, and I know that politics in Yugoslavia to this, well, I know it's no longer Yugoslavia, but politics in the Balkans to this day are extremely complex. But what sort of forces were fighting in this coup against the Prince? Were they supported potentially by the Reds? I'm not sure. I really do want to know, because some of the equipment looks very Red-like, but at the same time, they're getting commando support from the British, so that wouldn't make sense, would it? Let us know in the comments down below if you have made it this far in the video to even get this question. I'm actually really curious to see how many of you have gotten this far. Alright, keeping it nice and safe here in Zagreb. Beautiful Zagreb. Don't mind the burning vehicles. One more turn and we're there. Alright, nothing. Let's keep it up, boys. No time to repair. Let's take a look. Yeah, still a lot up that way. I think we have to send one of these STKFCs up in that direction. We're also using the supply truck as a bit of an offhand scout unit. Here we go. We've got some enemy artillery. They're just doing everything they can to stop us at every turn. Make sure we don't find the truth. These guys aren't going to be very useful towards the end of the fight. Just want to make sure, yep, everybody is on their location. You know, just to be safe, it's not really necessary, but I'm going to go ahead and replace them with elite units. They've lost quite a few men in this fight. Keep in mind that the numbers are really just placeholders. It's not just 15 infantry, maybe 1,500 or 2,000, I don't know, but it's just kind of a placeholder for the power of the unit. Here we go. Oh, do we have enough time, folks? What do you think? It's amazing that they are still fighting back. I'm not going to attack yet. I'm going to push forward, see if we can't do a mass attack. We also have the high ground. Absolutely wonderful. Wipe them out almost immediately. But we have to keep fighting, even though this is a 75mm M15. It's an artillery piece that can also function as an anti-tank weapon. And we can see that anti-tank action right there. So the time is ticking. And we've got an enemy tank flanking us here. Let's get on that damn position quickly. It's going to be hard to fight our way out of this location. But you know what? We're coming to the aid of our Panzer. Especially if you guys want to see future episodes here on this particular DLC. I want to make sure to keep this army list. Especially if we're managing to complete almost every objective. Oh, that's going to be tough to get through. Interesting. So as a scout unit, we can still get our replacements right away. That is something I like. That's something I could get used to. Hey, nice! They attacked us, and that actually worked out in our favor hugely. I think it's because Hauptmann was there. So perhaps he gave us a little bonus or some sort of boost. Get the Hauptmann down. Oh, yeah. One more location, guys. That's it. That is it. So let's hope that it's not well defended. I really do want to follow up and get the kill with the first Grenadier, because that could potentially give us an upgrade. But I don't want to leave this position. I'm not sure if they can take it back. They might be able to, although we've already searched it, but let's not guesstimate here. Now, that's what I hate. The last village is all the way over there. I don't think we're going to get to it, folks, to be honest with you. We're still going to try. We are still going to try. And our Panzer 4E has gained a star, so that's something to write home about. That's going to help in future battles, of course. And there we go! My general, it's no use. The organizers of the coup are too far ahead of us, and we've lost the trail on Prince Paul and his family. We should keep Zagreb secure and then prepare to leave Yugoslavia before more hostile forces have the chance to trap our small detachment. Okay, so the bonus objective was completed, but of course, he's not actually located, but we did our best, I suppose. So I like that, to say the least. So we've completed actually every single one of the additional objectives. And there we go, guys. Turn 25 of 25. We could attempt to get the kill here. Well, all I'm going to do is just get some elite replacements. We can, of course, just do this in the next battle. You will not break through the Reich's line. That was pretty cool, guys. It looks like a report back to High Command regarding the Balkans is going to be filled with bad news once again. The coup is a clear challenge against Yugoslav's signing of the Tripartite Pact and presents a serious threat to our hope for continued Yugoslavian neutrality. As soon as we return to Hungary, I'll send a full report back to Berlin. It says, historically, the coup in Yugoslavia was the result of a very complex situation in the Balkans. German negotiations with Yugoslavia in 1940 and 41 were made with the aim to keep the country neutral, so that Germany's southern flank would be safer and easier to secure for future operations. But the terms and treaties and cooperation with Germany did not sit well with many elements within Yugoslavia. Additionally, Britain was openly pushing for neutral countries to side against Germany. Wow. Okay, guys. So in the end, we did get our way. A nice little victory there in the new DLC. I like it a lot. I wonder what's coming up next for the upcoming battle. But if you did like this video, please like, comment, and subscribe. If you have any Wargaming Discord servers or Wargaming Reddit threads or whatever, feel free to share these videos, any of them on my channel. You've got my full blessing to do that, just as long as you, of course, link my YouTube channel as well. As anticipated, High Command's reaction to the Yugoslavian coup was full of fury. In the few days since our return from Zagreb, the Yugoslavian capital of Belgrade has been subjected to a major bombing campaign. Well, I'm sure you guys can imagine what this leads to, so if you want to see some more of this DLC, you know what you have to do. Thank you so much, folks. I'll catch you on the next one.